Hmm. When we stand together, we're powerful, man. Like, and I think we need to have this conversation. We need to push it along, like you said, Jason. Where we at?
Hmm.
This is
Well,
Whoopi Goldberg. This is an icon. She must be protected at all times. What she said, like Blue said, maybe needed more nuance. She apologized, but we need to stand up for our people. We need to stand up for our icons, our elders, our legends. We need to stand behind them. They need to feel that unity. And it's not enough just tweeting about it. We need to show up, like Jason, how we're using our platform today. There's so many black platforms out here. Where's the uproar? And that's what other cultures do. That's what the Jewish community does. And I feel like we know this by now, and it's time to stand together because when we do, we're powerful. It's that
well,
simple.
You know,
India Arie was one black artist who did stand up and say that we shall stay together. Take a look at what she said.
so we know how social media can be. Things can be doctored, people are taken out of context. It's happened to me many times. However, I want to be clear in no uncertain terms. Where I stand on this is that he shouldn't even be uttering the word. Don't even say it under any context. Don't say it. That's where I stand. It's my right to stand there. I have always stood there. So now we have this person who is offensive to a lot of people who's paid $100 million. Spotify, the backbone of Spotify is the music. So you pay the musicians that are the backbone of your business 0.003 to 0.005% of a penny, and you take this money that you generate over here and you use it to invest in this guy. Do what you want, but take me off or pay me too. And I don't just mean me, I mean us. Artists like me, pay us too. Pay podcasters of color too.
Well, I'm sure they didn't cut her a check, but then she did this. Take a look.
First of all, this conversation about Spotify, Joe Rogan, me, is not about Spotify or Joe Rogan. It's about my integrity. It's about being who I am inside, aligning with who I am outside. And it's about my dignity, not allowing anyone to belittle me. I'm not trying to attack anyone. What I'm doing is standing up for myself. So, number one, people who are talking about censorship and censoring of him, censorship is being at the threat of loss of life or freedom for your words. No one's being censored here. This is not about censorship. This is about curation. Two, I don't believe in cancel culture. Joe Rogan can leave Spotify today and someone else will want him. No one, you can't cancel. You can't actually cancel someone. You can curate a space. So again, this is not about cancel culture. It's about curation. Third, to be very clear, I never called him a racist. What I did in the curation of my space is say, I don't like this here. I don't want to be here. Anyone who saw those videos and decided for themselves if he was racist or not, that's their perception. I think he did well with his apology. I also found some of it disingenuous because everyone on the planet knows that that word is loaded, and that's why most people say the N-word when referring to the word. And so you choosing not to say the N-word is at best an edgy choice. You can be edgy, you can be a comedian, you can push the envelope, but also you must deal with the consequences of the language, thereby curating your own life. If you expect people to just accept it, it's not going to happen. So you're going to have to deal. And that's what is happening now. He has to deal. But he's not being canceled, censored, and I have not called him racist. I'm sure other people have because I see how they see it as racist. What I'm sitting with here is that I think he didn't see it as racist. Why would he be outwardly racist when he's part of the comedy community, which is the greatest comics are black? The current greatest comic in the world is black. Why would he want to outwardly be racist? Whether or not he is in his heart, I don't know. But I don't think he intended to be racist. I think he intended to be edgy. And he knew he was doing it.
Well, listen, I don't know if her clarification of her original position was even necessary because we heard you loud and clear what you said. You said that artists aren't paid the right amount of money for the platform that they're on, which is all about music, but yet they're sending all the money to a guy who's racist. I mean, you said what you said. Why do we feel the need to overly clarify our point of view when it comes to defending our blackness and being treated fairly?
Because black people aren't human, so we have to be perfect to have any dignity. If we skip a word or stumble or make any kind of mistake, oop, we're canceled, or somebody is holding us to
But why
rules.
do we feel? Because we know we're human. We don't care what
Hmm.
they feel. Why do we feel a need to apologize? Like Kanye said, say what you want. Don't apologize. Just say what you want. And I'll say in the same breath, Blue and Damage, I don't believe Joe Rogan should be canceled. The only reason we
Yeah.
believe Joe Rogan should be canceled is because we're mad as hell that we would be canceled for far less. Look at Whoopi, right? So when do we get to a place where accountability culture can replace cancel culture on all spectrums?
Where's Taylor Swift? This is and this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like Spotify has made it clear they only listen when really big white acts speak up. No shade to Neil Young, he was white, but he wasn't big enough. So where are the Taylor Swifts and the Adeles and such? Because if Taylor Swift says I have a hangnail, can we stop having music played on Tuesdays? They stop playing music on Tuesdays, right? So for anybody who says they're an ally to the black community and you are well aware of your privilege, you're well aware when you do those, oh, everybody needs to go out and vote. Suddenly you're front and center talking about politics. You know how much power you have. You know how much impact you have. If you're an ally to the community, for a story this big that talks about misinformation about medical community and racism, why aren't you speaking up? Taylor Swift has spoken up about less egregious acts, and I'm wondering where those white allies, quote unquote, are now when this has become a huge mess with Spotify. If they don't speak up, none of this matters. I'm sorry. Spotify's not going to listen to us.
I mean, unfortunately, I know India Arie was calling for artists to take their music off of Spotify. These artists don't own their music. A lot of them, they're owned by white companies that have partnerships with companies like Spotify. So what they would have to do is something even more radical, which is now go at the record label, which is a whole nother
Mm-hmm.
bag of worms you will be opening up. But I don't know, man. I don't want to put it on the allies, even though they should be there front and center. But I feel like it goes back to the question of when are we going to band together and do something? When are we going to stand up and go, this ain't right? The Joe Rogan thing. I don't know if he should be canceled. I don't know if he's racist, whatever. But what you said was stupid, and you've been saying it continuously. There's over
139
100
times.
different clips of you saying it, so you're not really that sorry because you'd have been said sorry. You had black people on your platform where you could have had that open dialogue to talk about how sorry you are. You're only sorry you got caught today. And I feel like Spotify is getting some heat, even though they're standing behind him, because in his apology, he addresses his apology first to Spotify, not us. So there's something that is going on in there.
But
Well,
it's not just the N word, guys. It's not just the N
wait.
word. He did.
But wait a
Sorry.
minute. But wait a minute. This is still a man. Spotify knew he was using that word when they gave him that $100 million. Spotify is complicit, just like ABC. Spotify is complicit, and ABC is trying to back away from something that's not even as bad as it was. We had a conversation on Clubhouse with some black folks and some Jewish folks about the very conversation Whoopi had, and they were coming from the perspective of how traumatic just discussing the Holocaust is. I said, yeah, but you're talking to black people who have the same trauma when we talk about slavery. We share similar experiences, right? But I don't think that we need to destroy one another because we don't understand. I think ABC and The View lost an opportunity to bring people together. But somebody that is standing for themselves is actress Zendaya. She now is going after Dare America because they're coming after her show Euphoria. Now, we've been talking about the HBO hit show Euphoria, where they say that the show glorifies teen drug use. And they've said, quote, rather than further each parent's desire to keep their children safe from the potentially horrific consequences of drug abuse and other high-risk behavior, HBO's television drama Euphoria chooses to misguidedly glorify and erroneously depict high school student drug use, addiction, anonymous sex, violence, and other destructive behaviors is common and widespread in today's world. Now, listen, white folks, let me tell you, this is what your children are doing at school. This is why this show is important, because it's forcing you to look at the realities that your kids are living in these days. Just because when you went to school, all you did was play Leave It to Beaver and eat Oreos while you skipped down the hall with your little pigtails, that's not the world that we live in right now. Now, last night I went out. Amber Rose and I stopped by The Nice Guy, and I ran into one of the actors from the show Euphoria. We didn't really get into detailed conversation about it, but he was telling me, he comes from Oakland, and I don't even know his name, the white boy with the red hair. But anyway, I can't.
I love him, Angus.
Angus, yeah, Angus got 4.5
he's
million followers. You know what the
he's
funny
my
thing?
favorite.
Angus
I love
goes,
him.
"What's your name?" I go, "Jason Lee," and he goes, "Nice to meet you." And then he goes to Amber, "What's your name?" She goes, "Amber Rose." He goes, "That's a nice name. What you guys do?" We died laughing. It was so humbling because we like, what you do? He's like, oh, I'm in that show Euphoria. I was like, for real? I said, oh, you know my friend Taylor Bennett? And when I went to his Instagram, I'm like, damn, you got 4.5 million followers? But anyway, he didn't know who I was. But, you know, it was interesting to be able to see the conversation happened online with Zendaya, where now Dare is going after her and she's standing up. So Zendaya says, our show is in no way a moral tale to teach people how to live their life or what they should be doing. If anything, the feeling behind Euphoria or whatever we have always been trying to do with it is to hopefully help people feel a little bit less alone in their experience and their pain, and maybe feel like they're not the only one going through or dealing with what they're dealing with. And, you know, if you've never met Zendaya, she's a beautiful, sweet girl. So I don't know. Are they reaching here?